righty, let's see here. All right, here we go. And we should be live now. So good morning, everybody. We got a full house in the chat, and we got a full house here on the screen. Jeff, Tyler decided to crash as well. So we're back, the three of us. It's been so long since we've seen each other, you know? Like what, since May?
Yeah, Memorial Day.
But we got everybody in the house. We got, let's see, Dana, Rune, GK Man, I forgot to check on that for you. So remind me Monday, and I will check on what you asked me about. Night Owl, good morning. See James Randolph. See Rune saw in the chat. Rune is trying to push James into the river out of the kayak or something like that. Legolas Lockpicker, good afternoon to you over there. Who else do we have? Robert Patton, Miko Wolf. See HKS Systems, good morning to you. Jeff, yeah. Anthony, good morning. So here we are after another week of second locksmithing. So Jeff, what have you been up to lately?
Well, when I got back from Aloha, we got a new guy at work, so finally have some help again in the shop. He's learning a lot. He's been there about a month now. On the first day, the only thing he knew about keys is that he used them, and by the end of that day, he had cut probably 200 keys. And you know, takes time to learn. I think I've taken for granted that I've cut keys for almost half of my life now. So you don't even think about a lot of it, and you just do it. And then he got to go out in the field a little bit and help on some install stuff, which is, learning, the other side, which is, I think, just as important, because something that I'm selling stuff that I don't know how to do, like door closers, panic bars. I know very little about that stuff. He was mostly helping install alarm lock trilogies on some old doors, so they were putting wraparounds and doing some of that kind of stuff.
I hate installing trilogies, fresh installs.
Well, these are retrofits, so yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
or I hate going behind like where one's been on, because then the door looks like Swiss cheese before you got to cover it up. So yeah, definitely like learning like everything. Like you guys kind of knew what I knew as far as locks and keys before I started, and that's been almost a year and a half ago now. And now I can look at the door and say, okay, that exit device needs to go, or that flush bolt needs to be swapped out, or something like that. So you definitely have to learn like all sides of it, especially if you're going to be out on the road.
Right. And like he's been reading, Tyler, I told you a lot of those master keying books that most of it is stuff we don't do because the computer does it for us. But knowing how it works is helpful. You're most of the time what you're doing in the shop is making two keys work that shouldn't be part of that's
I did that the other day, actually.
Shoebox master keying, which is its own discussion, but
that's how I do it.
Right. Yeah, I've seen your shoe boxes have like 4 drawers on them with big combination dial locks. But no, it there's a lot to know, and customer service is obviously part of it, and figuring out what the person needs, and they come in and they hand you a key. What's it for? A car? And he's just like, thank you. Like, what else can you say? I know it's for a car. What kind of, but it takes time, and I'm glad to have the help and try to pass along some of what I know. And Tyler's been a big help in increasing my knowledge, even though I may not get to use all of it. So in a way, it feels like I'm helping the next generation, because he's 10 years younger than me. So that's kind of cool to get to share what I know.
Oh yeah, that's always fun. I think it is. I've taught before, and I'd love to get to the point where, as a locksmith, I can teach locksmithing. But I've still got a lot lot to learn. So,
yeah.
Of course, Tyler that's with us, he knows everything, and so we just call him and ask him, right?
You and everybody else.
Yeah. So Tyler, what's been up with you lately?
Just same old, same old. We're about midway through a 800 door project in Atlanta, about 22 stories. So I'll be happy when that's done. But it's going along pretty good. And they found out about 2-3 weeks ago, the biggest building in Atlanta, which is not big everywhere else, but is for us, they're going to start using us next year to redo their master key system. So looking forward to that. It's a mix of X4 and Schlage in user keyways. So I'll have fun.
So when you do those kind of jobs, are you guys just doing the pinning and then they're doing all the actual like swapping of cylinders, or do you guys do all the work on site, or does it depend?
For the implementation, we'll do it. We just include it in the cost of the proposal. But this other one, this big one, I don't know how we're going to do it, how they want to do it. It all depends. I've only got keyways, part numbers, stuff like that to go off of so far. So who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do the corporate for the national big box store, and I think I've told y'all before, but I won't mention the name on live. But anyway, they built a new building in South Charlotte, and it's all Schlage LFIC. And so originally, I think the quote was for like 40 doors, and then they added another 40 and said, yeah, that'll be all. And we wound up, we just received our second batch of 200 quarters for that building. So we've got to pin and swap everything out. And there is, I don't know if y'all have ever seen it, but I think it didn't match up to the list that I have, but they had in certain doors, they had construction cores and everything. It was just orange Schlage C. And but in probably a dozen or so doors, they had a black core that was, construction core, Schlage C keyway. And the one on the list did not match. Like there were 4 on the list. We kept all 4 of those keys.
And none of them worked?
None of them would work.
Did you figure out what it was?
Yeah, eventually we got it. So I've got that information somewhere. So if you run into like a black core, then I've got possible bidding for it.
Send it to me so I can add it to my notes, because if there's one that doesn't work, I want to have it on my thing.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that somewhere in our notes that we wrote down. But
like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, there was the orange one came right off the list that I had. I think somebody sent me. You might have, and I might have, or somebody or several people might have. And it worked right away, but we had to. It was an effort to track down an operating key for those cores. So of course we can make.
Yeah, so I have 4 different ones for black. I have one for blue and green, and I have one for orange that matches one of the black. So we'll have to compare notes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look it up. Let's see. Apparently I have double audio. I don't know why that is. Let's see, zoom this camera mic in. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think my dial's right on my audio issue. I'm not sure how to change it. So
turning it off and back on again.
Hitting it with a hammer
works for everything else.
Hey, there's some things you just gotta knock it around a bit.
My coworker was having an issue with his brand new truck, and it was that's basically what they told him to do: turn it off and back on again until we get the part. It like stopped accelerating all of a sudden.
Okay.
Oh, I feel like an IT guy. They just told me to turn it off and on again. Well, that's cool, I guess.
see, we got a few other people who joined in here. Logs New York, Jay, good to have you. Kurt, Lock and Key, Ronald. Who else do we have jump in here? Anthony says we need more three-way chats to work through these issues. Yeah, that works for me. I told these guys the other night that I needed some famous people to help, boost my views and stuff.
And we're the best you could get, I guess.
There were a couple that I want to get on, and I sent, I think it was a Twitter message to Greg Waugh from iPod.
Yeah, he'd be good to have on here.
Yeah, that was a while back and never replied, so I might try again. And then there's a couple others that I'd like to have back on. And of course, anybody else thinks they want to see on here, I'll take suggestions and try to make it happen. So Tyler, did you want to make an announcement today, or did you want to wait until another time?
Did you already that picture I sent you last night? Have you shared that?
I have not.
We'll do it another time then.
Okay. All right. That's okay. So that'll be a teaser before. Gotcha. All right. That works for me. So what's come up in the last 2 weeks that's been interesting for you guys at work?
Anything? They're raising prices again.
Yep.
Yeah, I did see that. Everybody.
Somebody was complaining oh, Quickset's raising. I'm like, find me a manufacturer that isn't raising their prices.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see, Ronald's asking what the hardest lock to work on is.
I would probably guess multi-lock only because I've never done it.
Well, my boss has done it for years, and he still locks it up every time he tries to pin one.
Yeah.
What about for you, Tyler?
I'd say Miwa, because those springs are so thin and so light you can't even feel them in your fingertips.
I don't think I've ever handled a Miwa.
They're scary.
Are they? I mean, I've got a couple in here that
magnetic, right?
European lock in here that I'm just too scared to ever even try to take it apart. Well, and then I've got the Fichet that I got earlier this year from my mom and dad. Let's see. Yeah, I think working on locks that are just crappy to start with, trying to make them work after they've been used for a little bit, that's probably, that's pretty difficult when the customer wants you to make it work and you're like, we can try to band-aid it together for you, but you just need a new one.
Well, once you touch it, you own it.
Yep, that's exactly right. You touch it, it's yours. You're married to it.
You can give them the red light special.
The tail light. That's the tail light warning, right?
Okay, well, we call it red light special down south.
Yeah. Well, that's yesterday I had a job, and it was a commercial building, and the guy had one of our competitors. It's a larger shop in the area, and it had been there twice before because it was a restroom door, so it had just a passage lever on it, and the latch wouldn't depress as the door was open, so it was just hitting on a latch and a strike. And he said over the 2 times that they were there, they adjusted the door closer. And then I think they actually replaced the latch with another one, because you could tell where the door had been more goes out for a bigger latch, but it was a narrower latch style that was in there. It was an arrow latch. I'm not sure if the lever was arrow. It didn't look like it. I mean, it looked like a slave to me. But they sort of banded it together. I showed up, I looked at it, squirted Houdini in there, swung the door open, it shut just fine. I said, did they ever do that? He said, I don't think so. I said, okay. But I hate like going behind other shops. I mean, not all the time, because not everybody's bad or anything, but anytime another shop kind of band-aids something together, that's the worst to try to fix.
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating.
Yeah. Especially if you're trying to make it, make it work for somebody.
Yeah.
So,
I guess they sent their version of Jeff out there to fix it first.
What? Drop the parts on the floor or something?
You're not a real locksmith unless you can drop things at least 5 times while you're working on it.
Yeah.
I tell you, that reminds me. There's a Jeff. I wouldn't expect you to know this, but Tim, you've heard the Motley Crue song "Girls, Girls, Girls."
What do you mean? I don't know that song? Are you?
Okay, they name drop a strip club in Atlanta called Tattletale, which used to be behind the shop I worked at in Atlanta. So we would do their work. One time I was doing a job there, and I just out of habit, I always put parts, screws, whatever, in my mouth just to keep track of them. But I had left this one on the ground of the strip club, and I just wasn't thinking, picked it up, put it in my mouth, started working on it, and like halfway through, I'm like, oh God, what did I just do? So I stopped putting stuff in my mouth after that.
See, I don't ever put anything in my mouth. Like people put screws or something like that, just hold it in your mouth and then you go to work and then grab it. And I don't ever do that, except yesterday I did, because I was working on storefront doors. They were for a car dealership. I was replacing the flush bolts. And like they were tall ass doors. I mean, you guys know how tall I am. And I've got my old 4-foot ladder. So, with standing on the next to top step of the 4-foot ladder, I'm like 6 feet tall. And anyway, I'm like trying to reach, and I put that screw in my mouth, and I'm thinking that screw is just on the floor where people walk all the time. Because to me, there's nothing dirtier than the bottoms of people's shoes. Like, I hate that. That's the dirtiest thing ever. And I'm like, bleh, like, where's the sanitizer? I need a Lysol in my mouth or something. That's what I felt like. Got the flush bolt in. That was a pain in the ass.
Those can be tricky. There's a car dealership here, and they keep breaking the plastic piece that like is on the bottom of it. Not the guide, but it's just like a plastic hexagon piece or whatever. I'm like,
yeah,
probably find somebody with a 3D printer to make, because you got to buy the whole flush bolt, I think, to replace that.
Have you?
So I don't know if they make them, but we didn't have them. We have the whole flush bolt.
Have you ever had to work on a flush bolt where the top rod, the top flush bolt, there's a ceiling right above the door that's maybe 6 inches or maybe a little bit less or more, whatever it is, but you can't pull it up because the ceiling's blocking it. So your only option is to drop the door.
I've not had that. I've not ran into that, thankfully, because I don't drop doors by myself.
Right.
Well, it's coming.
I've had to help on those kind of jobs. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends. It would depend on the door. Like if I felt confident enough to drop it by myself. But yeah, I mean, we've dropped plenty.
Every time we work, there is one of the largest malls in the world was right by our shop originally. It's now an Amazon distribution center. But they were working on a glass door years ago, and he's all right. The maintenance, they didn't want to pay for 2 techs, So the mall maintenance people helped with the door or whatever. So he's like, okay, whatever you do, be really, really careful. Well, they took the glass door down and were holding it like a table, and it just exploded.
Yeah. No, I mean, solid metal doors, I've dropped those.
Yeah.
We had a job last week, I think, at a veterinary office, and they had like it's like an air compressor or something, but it has to do with like the oxygen system or something like that. But anyway, it was overheating, and they wanted us to put vents in the doors.
Mhm.
And so I got there before my boss did, and he said, okay, get started. And I'm like, I've never done this before. I have no clue how to do it, but I guess I can start by dropping the doors. And that's what I did.
Mhm.
Let's see.
Yeah, we had to. I mean, like one was at an IHOP, the front door, whatever. I had to drop the door to change some stuff in the bottom of. But I think that was more just how else were we gonna, how else are you gonna get it out?
Yeah. Well, that's like we did a job going from surface mount vertical rod exit devices to powered concealed vertical rod exit devices on
Mhm.
storefront doors. And we're taking the old one out. But the first door we did, we're taking out the old vertical rod. And the boss thought that I had hold it at the top, and he reached in with his finger to just kind of poke it. So, it would come loose because it's the vertical rod where it comes down, it has like a L shape at the bottom, hooks into the pinion gears. And he thought that I had hold of the latch, and I didn't. And when he poked it in, it dropped in the door, and the tip of his finger about got sliced off.
Ooh.
So he had to bandage that up, Locksmith bandage, which is paper towel and electrical tape. And
I think that's one of the few things that goes across every trade is the field Band-Aid.
Yep, that's it. And but we wound up having to drop the door to pull that damn rod out.
Yeah.
That sucked. I hate doing this.
But at least you never dropped anything behind a frame. You can't drop that.
That's true.
Why did you sound like you've done that?
Oh yeah, I've lost tools. I've lost parts back there. Yeah, I lost a.
I know. Yeah, I know for a fact. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I've lost step bits behind there stuff.
Yeah, I know for a fact where one of my fiberglass glow rods is in a styrofoam furred out wall, and behind me I dropped a pair of. You can see those are window wells, and they're open in the middle. Well, there's a third one that you can't see that I dropped a pair of wire cutters down 20 years ago. So
when they demo those buildings, they're going to be like, "Oh yeah, free tools."
Right. Well, this is.
Yeah. Let's see. What have I lost? I have lost something. Seems like I can't remember, but yeah. I mean, it seems like we lost something somewhere. And there's a safe guy that's out in California. I follow him on Instagram. Really cool guy. And he opened the safe, and he'll show pictures of the safe and just a little description of it. And he takes his son with him. His son's like 12, 13, 15, something like that. And one of them, he shows his son just laughing at him, and it's because he had dropped the end of his scope down in the door of the safe, like before he somehow lost it. He was top drilling or something, and the scope just went down in the door. Lost it.
You'll have that on these big jobs, I guess.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we've broken drills and all kinds of shit before on jobs, just because we're trying to do something, and mostly access control jobs. That's where we break a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, you got more stuff and more
drill through concrete. That's why the Bosch hammer drill stays in my truck.
Yeah.
You know something we've all lost on jobs?
Air.
Our dignity.
Money.
No. Our sanity.
We lost dignity, money, and sanity on jobs. Yes.
Yeah.
Tyler, did you ever have you done much, if any, access control stuff?
Whose?
Have you done like any access control stuff?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's when. Yeah, when I first started, that's all I did.
Oh, okay.
Like, first 6 months to a year, they wouldn't let me touch a lock.
Oh, wow.
I was just pulling wires, drilling door contacts, tying in panels, stuff like that.
Cool. Yeah,
Well,
that's
it wasn't
probably.
It wasn't at first. I was like, I want to be a locksmith, man. I don't want to do this.
Jeff, what about you? Do you guys do access control through your shop?
We do a ton of it. Don't know much about it, but I've run
Gotcha.
feet of wire and terminations and stuff like that for networks and phone systems and cameras. But
Okay.
I'm pretty familiar on a job site, but I don't get to do much of that stuff. We do a lot of it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's easy, Jeff. All you got to do is just keep the smoke inside the system. Don't let it out.
Thank you. I did light work for years. I'm very familiar with the blue smoke.
The first day that I went to work as a locksmith, we go to, it was a car dealership, and I think the door had dropped or something like that, and they had like the hinge had a wire going through it to power the access control, and my boss is trying to fish that out so that we can try to adjust the door maybe, and he reaches up in there and winds up breaking the wire, and not only broke the wire, but the ends of the wire touched, or the two wires touched, and it shorted out the power supply. And he's like, well, this job's free. And just let me know how much they charge you, your access control people. Because we were just there for the door.
Yeah, there was one a couple years ago where we had to fix, the call came in that people were getting shocked when they opened the door. Well, whoever put the operator in, the ground or something shorted out to ground inside. And yeah, it wasn't our work.
Jeff, is that a heating pad on your back?
Yeah.
Are you hurt?
I've used this all the time. I have neck and back problems. You know that.
I've never seen you wear one.
You just don't pay attention. That's because you're never on the Zooms. You're always,
Did you carry that out to Vegas with you? Was it on your carry-on?
I did not have one.
Yeah, so Jeff, tell us about Aloha.
Oh, it was, well, except for having to deal with that Tyler guy. No, it was pretty cool. I mean,
did he show up there too?
Yeah, I know. He's got a.
I thought he got kicked out of Aloha or something.
Well, I'm
working on it.
Well, we're working on somebody else, but no, it was really cool. I mean, I was there for a week. I had classes all day for 5 days, and I didn't really know what to expect because I've only been to some of the classes through Pola, but luckily it was a lot of the same people. In my case, I took classes with the same person for 3 different classes who I've already taken classes with before, which is Bill Link. And I learned a lot from him and the other stuff. I took an advanced master keying class, which was with another guy who's a genius. And then just getting to meet a lot of people and see what's new in the industry. It's kind of cool to see some of the new products before everybody else. And like before they're officially released, there were a few things it's released now, like Bubba Peaks, their latest patented product. Bill told us about it in the class. Then 3 days later, they were showing it at the trade show.
Oh, cool.
And I still don't think they put it up on their website yet, but it is probably available soon. Stuff like that, just what's coming in the industry, and getting to talk to some of the salespeople and be like, hey, these are the issues that we have, and
Mhm.
There,
That's what I really liked about the banner trade show in Houston. There were, I did a 2-day safe opening class, and it was really, really cool. Ken Fu actually taught that, and I did that class, enjoyed it, and then like in the evenings they did, like one evening they did a little thing where it was a walk in, walk out from a bunch of different, manufacturers, and then the trade show was actually that Saturday. So we went through and we walked through all that, and of course I did a video of that, but yeah, that's kind of cool to see that.
but like, and Tyler would probably agree with me, like one of the biggest suppliers in the industry wasn't there. And like that's their choice. But if you want to say that, hey, we are your supplier and we sell only to you and we have your back, but then you don't come to the biggest trade, the really only trade show for the industry,
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
Josh, you know what I'm talking about, Seclock.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think I want to say I think I saw Seglock at the South Carolina Locksmith Association trade show when I went last year, which I don't know if they're having that this year, but that was a pretty cool one. North Carolina does theirs every February.
Mm-hmm.
Their trade show. They do quarterly meetings, but then the trade shows every February.
Yeah, and like Dormacaba, I mean, they had Ilco and Advanced Diagnostics there, but there's a whole part of their business that wasn't represented there at all. Best and all that kind of stuff. But I guess that's what they decided to do.
Yeah.
They do exhibit at other shows, and they have different markets and different verticals or whatever. So maybe they, for whatever reason, they decided not to be there. So, but no, I think it was good. I mean, I know it takes a lot to put on an event like this, and now I sort of understand why it costs what it costs to join, because there's all these moving parts and mouths to.
Well, to be fair, these people usually set their marketing budgets a whole year in advance. So that was still kind of the tail end of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of hurt us there. But next year's looking good. It's already over 50% sold. Tim, how far are you from Orlando driving? Like 8 hours?
Yeah, between 8 and 10 hours or so.
Yeah. Well, it's in Orlando
next year.
Yeah, you should drive down.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I have to say this, my boss is awesome about, training and everything. Because I was going to go, we tried to look at classes and stuff for me to go to at Lockmasters in Kentucky, to do safe stuff. And we weren't able to work it out this year as far as schedule and the classes that I really wanted. But yeah, I think probably next year there's a good chance we'll go to Orlando. And
do y'all do any sort of Medico?
Yeah, we do M3. We got we've got 2 M3s, I think 2 M3 keyways, and we've got we do a bunch of key mark. We do, what else do we do?
Well, the reason I asked, they're doing about a week full of certification classes at the end of October up in Salem, which is probably 2-3 hours from you.
Winston-Salem?
No, Salem, Virginia. That's a lot.
Salem, Virginia.
It's about 30 minutes east of Bristol.
He's in North Carolina. That's
for me that would be probably about 2.5, 3 hours maybe.
Yeah. Well, you should look I'll send you the link when we're done, but you should look into signing up. It's free.
Okay, cool. And it's the end of October?
25, 26, 27. I'm going to be there so you can see me.
Yeah, they're doing, I think Clyde is coming to Tom's in October to do a Medico certification in Pennsylvania. So I'll be going to that.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I mean, I would like to do it just because we do a lot and there's a lot of stuff, I still have to ask questions for. I mean,
our conversation last night, you're asking about XT. They're giving a free XT certification class that week.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be justification for me to go. If we go that way. I can't remember why he was wanting to do that particular job, but because I'll tell you, have either of y'all, speaking of access control and stuff, have either of you two or anybody in the chat ever done anything with Salto?
I do not hear much good about it.
We sell a ton of it. So much so that our rep took us out to dinner. The Salto rep from Atlanta came up here to do that and visit the shop. Because we got parts right now and scheduled over the next 3 weeks. I think we've got something like 5 Salto install jobs. And we've done, since July, we've done another 5. But it's really, really good. You kind of have to get a feel for it, and know kind of the components and their limitations and kind of how they work. But it's still really, really good. I've been thinking about seeing if I could get somebody from Salto to come on live here, because the cool thing about it is you don't have to have a low voltage license to run wire for, because you're running Cat 5.
Yeah, but in some places you still have to have a license for that and pull permits and.
Okay. Well, here in North Carolina, you don't have to have a license to run Cat 5.
Yeah, I mean, if you're above a ceiling, they want their money.
Yeah.
Does everybody do it? No, but.
But I mean, the cool thing is they have mortise and rim cylinder, cylinders. So you apply your fob to the mortise cylinder. You just remove a regular mortise cylinder from the mortise body, screw in the Salto cylinder with the right cam on it, and that's it. And now you've got Salto access on that door.
Right. Well, that seems similar to that Best Switch Tech, where it's just a core and it's got a motorized thing that talks to an app or whatever.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but on Lock Reference about 2 or 3 years ago, I said that was going to be the future.
And now we're selling the crap out of it.
It's not your horn anymore.
No, that's the only way that access control is going to be on every door, is if you can remove the fact that you've got to run wire and all of this dedicated equipment for it. If you can just reuse what's already there.
Yeah, but look at Asa Click and how expensive. People aren't going to spend $1,000 for a padlock,
Well, it takes roughly around $1,000 to equip one door with access control. Yeah. A Click lists for $600. You're already down $400 there.
Yeah.
And it's still in its early infancy. So as more and more people adopt it, they refine the process, they expand their manufacturing capabilities, the price goes down. Right now, it's just early adopters bearing the costs, but it'll eventually go down.
And Salto is actually comparable to, say, if you did a Schlage Engage system, because that's another standalone, or not standalone, but another system that you don't have to run wires for. And we actually, on our shop, we have Salto on the front door and Engage on the back door, so we can demo to customers, who are really interested in it. We can show them, hey, this is your option. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. We do more Salto than we do Engage, but we do stock Engage. We keep a couple around, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Tyler, actually, you talking about Click in the chat, mentioning the battery. I think the reason why my boss was looking at XT, that job, is so you don't have to go through changing the battery in the key. You plug it in and charge it. and you just got an app that controls the key.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to get something to demo via Steam.
Kitty.
Somebody trying to untie my shoes. Tyler, I've got 3. I think your German Shepherds need to adopt one of them.
My son wants, my oldest wants a cat for Christmas. We're looking at Maine Coon.
Well, I've got others. They're not quite Maine Coon, but they're certainly interesting.
I've never had a Maine Coon, but somebody told me once that they're basically a dog in a cat's body.
That's pretty much like my cat Socks. That's just the tuxedo cat. That's what she is. I mean, she's like 22 pounds, and she used to play fetch all the time. Like I would throw toys and she'd bring them back. But yeah, she's a dog in a cat's body.
What does they say? Cats don't have owners; they have servants or something.
Yes, dogs have owners and cats have staff.
Yes.
So James Randolph just made an interesting point in the chat saying NFC could be the future. The Salto, you can get, you can use the Salto app on your phone. Like I don't have an actual fob for our Salto cylinder. I use the app on my phone. It's got a widget, and I just unlock the phone, hit a button, hold it up to the cylinder. And that's how I let myself in the shop in the mornings.
Mm-hmm. Here I am using a key like some
Neanderthal.
right.
I mean, I just don't like physical keys, but see, the old Rune says the old iLock cylinders used a generator turned by inserting a key to generate the needed power. I think I read about that somewhere.
Oh, you remember the Ilko Marlock? Did you ever seen those?
Is that the one where the handle would charge it?
No, but I have a key for one of them, the Marlock. It was more like a hotel thing. You have to find the key.
Didn't they made an E-Plex where the depressing and letting go of the handle would generate power?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did. I've never seen one in.
We have a Kaba Moss. It's a Moss Hamilton power lever where you generate the power.
That's it.
Yeah.
There's a special conductive bolt that mounts it that routes the power from the handle to the back of the battery case.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Like most of the screws insulated, but the tip is to run it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that's kind of cool, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to rely on something like that. See, yeah, they still. I was saying that they still make the E-Plex that generates power by pumping the handle. I mean, I guess that would be I guess if you had it like in a remote location, like if you had a service building someplace out in the woods or something that you had access control for, maybe. I don't know.
What was who made that safe lock? It was Moss Hamilton where you had to rotate the dial a few times to power it up.
Oh yeah.
There was a Kaba that had that also.
Well, Moss Hamilton, Kaba, same thing.
Well, no, and isn't there one that there's a something in Lockmaster? Isn't there the X09 or something that has that's self-powered?
Yeah, I think all the X series are same thing. It's the same concept.
Yeah. Or like, I guess y'all probably missed a few weeks ago. The lock that I got for my safe out here is the Securam Extreme Logic Pro, and it has the keypad, which is battery powered. It's not self-generating, but it's battery powered. But then you can also dial, like there's a little release, and you spin the keypad like you would a regular dial, and unlocks everything. I couldn't get the spindle to stay in though. And for everybody who did watch that, I've not spent 1 minute trying to figure that out since that Saturday. But safe is locked, and I can get it open. But I can also walk up and pull straight out on the keypad, and the whole spindle comes out with it. So not much use there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I just mentioned the Autocon. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an old display that I don't even think works, but it does look kind of cool.
Y'all sell like either y'all do like sell any of the Kata Eplex?
Not really. We do the simplexes, and I haven't seen too many of those.
We just sell them to replace what's already there.
Yeah, that's what we'll do if the customer wants a direct one-to-one replacement. But my boss, he's not too keen on doing a new install, and that's because he's telling me the reason why is he'd get like 1 out of every 3 would break or malfunction or something within like 3 to 6 months of installing brand new.
Your feedback's killed me, Tim.
Is it? Sorry.
Because I'm hearing myself on the delay and it's tripping me up.
I'm just watching it on the Zoom, so I don't hear any of that.
Okay.
And Tyler's muted now.
Hang on just a second, y'all.
Oh, my bad.
Hang on. Let's see.
I was going to say this, we just signed this service contract, and it said we had to warranty parts and labor for 1 year, but the contract expires October 31st. So it's like, yeah, I'll sign it.
All right. All right. Is this audio any different?
I don't know.
It's a lot better.
Is it? Okay.
It's like 1,000% better.
Okay. I'll have to go back and see what kind of torture I was putting y'all through. I apologize for that. I didn't know it was that bad.
It seemed okay to me. I mean, you had a little bit of noise in the background, but
you just went from Quickset to Medico, buddy.
Well, I thought you could key those alike. Key your Quickset to your Medico key on your front door.
I mean, you can do anything with enough time and effort.
You can do anything with a big enough hammer.
Yeah.
I did all right. Apparently that fixed the audio problem. I for the regular lives, I use my AirPods, but apparently going through Zoom, I should use the computer microphone.
So we should restart the live and start back over?
Sure. Good morning, folks. Glad y'all are here. Yeah, no, I did. Let's see. Dark Arts Lockpicking. Good early morning to you. Thank you for joining in. We'll have to get him on here one day too. Sorry, I've got a cat literally climbing my leg. In case if I jump suddenly, that's what's going on. But now I had a job the other day, a rekey job, and God, it was a pain in the ass. It was a church daycare building, and it was rekey all exterior doors. every single one of them was an ancient. I can't even remember what manufacturer of exit device it was. They were all exit devices, all of them rim cylinders, and all of the rim cylinders being held in with friggin' flathead screws. I mean, that's just like a pain in the ass. That's like a middle finger, from one locksmith to the next,
It'd be funny. Those one-way screws that they used to put on deadbolts?
Mhm.
Start putting those on rim cylinders.
Oh no. Now if I did that, if I were going to do that, I would use an IC housing and then put those in.
Loctite for good measure.
Yeah. Hell, we did a job that we weren't really proud of. If you never remove the hardware from the door, it looks great. I mean, it looks awesomely great if you never take the hardware off the door. But it was a brand new door, like virgin door, and had no holes cut in it whatsoever. And between the two of us, we misread the required back set for the exit device and drilled it in completely the wrong place. And so when we're getting done, we after we finally got it in there, we looked and said, my boss asked me, he said, should we bend the bolts so they can't take them out? Because we put an LFIC housing in there because they were on Schlage. So we put that in there and put a LFIC, core in there.
Anytime we do a brand new rekey where they're going to be replacing all the cylinders, especially to go to a Medico, any exit device, any ladder pull, anything like that, it gets quoted and spec'd for IC because we don't want to tear the hardware every time we want to rekey or swap it out.
Oh yeah.
I just put something in the chat for you guys.
Okay. Yeah. So,
they don't have access to Zoom, Jeff. You should put it in the YouTube chat.
No, it was just for you. I don't have YouTube open because I don't want to hear my voice.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I was going to send you, Tim.
Oh, the link that he just did. Okay. Let's see.
Oh, interesting. Tyler, Medico relaunched their brass body padlocks that they said that they were just discontinuing like 3 months ago. So I wonder if they found a new manufacturer.
So they manufacture everything on site.
Well, no, those the plastic padlocks that they had were the same as a Master Pro series.
Oh.
So they discontinued. There's a system series padlock discontinuation, which I think Master was making for them. It was in July.
Well, neat story. The factory in Medico's still at 8 to 10 weeks for key blank fulfillment. And we offered to send them about 150 pounds of scrap Medico key blanks.
What'd they say?
Can't use them.
Really?
It has to be
Virgin
coil rolled brass.
Wow.
And they don't have the capabilities of making that on site.
Huh.
So it comes like on strips or something?
I don't know. But apparently we weren't the first dealer to offer that. Hey, we'll send this to you for free if you can just send us the blank.
Yeah.
You've seen the factory, right? You've seen how they make the keys and stuff, or did they not show you that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Peter Field told me one time how they do it. I don't know the terminology, but they've got these. They've got these
Tumblers.
what's a good way to put it? Like when you're stretching wire to get it to a certain diameter, how you go through smaller and smaller holes.
Yeah. Dies.
Okay. Yeah, so they've got something similar to that cuts the keyways as they pull it through certain millings.
Yeah, broaching.
Yeah, okay, that's what it is. They broach. They've got a series of broaches. So it's got to be a certain thickness, diameter, whatever, and it pulls it along in steps to broach the various keyways.
Huh.
It's like a 5-step process.
Wow. That's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, I guess they would have to, like, so they don't have smelters to be able to, I guess, recycle the old keys that you had.
No, and we were doing so well this pandemic. Nothing we sold or were using got hit with any sort of delays, but it finally caught up with Medico where nothing else but the blanks, the materials they used for the blanks, hit a snag, and they were going all over the world trying to find replacement materials, and they're just now getting back caught up with it.
Well, I know it's taken us a long time. Yeah, we had to wait for Medico keys because one of the keyways we used, I think we placed an order. Well, actually, I think we got ours fairly quickly compared to what you were saying. We actually got ours in about 8 weeks, I think, 8-9 weeks, something like that.
Well, we're used to 4 to 6. That's how it's been for years.
Okay. Man, I can't remember the exact timeline.
Medico's lead time, like when we would order, say we needed some Sky keyway cylinders and we'd order them from SecBlock. Okay, it'll take 4 weeks, and they would be here in 4 weeks.
Right.
Now, who know? It's like, okay, who knows?
Well, I bought 1,000 biaxial blanks, our biaxial blank. Sent the PO in August 1st. Ship dates October 14th.
Well, you have 2,000 different keyways, so
we're out of these blanks, and like I've got 10 or 11 big orders pending on it, and I can't do anything with it till we get the blanks a month away.
That's like we got speaking of restricted, we got a job that, God, when was it? It was back like either in May or 1st of June we started doing it, and we did Falcon IC. Jeff, it was the same restricted IC that you have, actually, because we take it's the same keyway that y'all got.
Right.
But we ran out of cores for it. Like we pinned up 100, I think we ordered 100, we pinned them all up and realized that we were like, they kept adding logs to it and we needed like 40 more. And so we ordered another 100. And I think those just came in, maybe, or no, those haven't even come in yet, but we ordered them like 1st of June.
Wow.
Just taking forever.
And who do you order them through?
We did through one distributor, and like they said, yeah, we're not going to be able to do it, or no, it'll be like, I think they gave us like a 6-month lead time, and then we actually went to our Allegiant rep, and he was able to get some things moving, but I don't think we've still got them yet.
What were they having trouble with? Wayne and Josh were all talking about it. The residential.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Well, I mean, I know specifically that they went with those Lockley things, which I don't know much about. But yeah, they couldn't get the Schlage residential stuff. And then they
because we sell, obviously we sell more Schlage than we do anything else. Residential, that's always stock, unless if a customer specifically wants Quickset, or they have Quickset on everything, but they need just this knob or this deadbolt replaced. Then of course we stay with Quickset, so they don't have 2 keys. But basically what we have in the showroom, on the shelves, is all Schlage, and we've not had any issues getting Schlage stuff from any of our distributors. Banner, Annixter, Cyclock, none of them.
Even the electronic stuff?
Well, the Schlagen code.
That's it. That's what I was talking about.
Okay. Yeah, the Schlagen code. Now, we last year, like in November, December, that time range, we were actually selling and installing roughly 5 to 10 Schlagen codes a week.
Wow.
A week. Yeah. I mean, and that includes like, storefront sales where people walk in and say, I want the encode, I'll put it on myself. So that's how many we were selling. And then Schlag was like, we heard, hey, they're getting harder and harder to find. And then finally, all of our distributors said out of stock. And, we went to every distributor, even ones that we don't use that often, just to try to get some. And in fact, Locks NY, Jay, he gave me his IDN rep, his number. And we called him and he's like, yeah, I thought I had some, but I don't. And so we did not get a single encode, and none of the distributors would let us order them. Like they said, no, we're not even taking orders. And that was from January until April. And then in April, they started saying, yes, you can order. But it's going to be like a 4 to 6 week lead time, but you can go ahead and order. We just started getting them in about 3 weeks ago. And of course, Schlag announced the other day that they're discontinuing the Sense and the Connect.
Yeah.
And that, I think it's because they're coming out with the Encode Plus, which if you look on their website, it lists the Encode Plus. If you have the Schlag Home app, it'll, like when you set up a new lock, it'll give you the option between Encode or Encode Plus. And but even our Allegiant rep hasn't gotten a sample yet.
Really?
And I asked him like a few weeks ago, I'm like, have you gotten any of the Encode Pluses yet? Because it can connect to Apple HomeKit, and I'm the only one who uses Apple in the shop, and I can sell the crap out of them. I've sold so many Schlag Senses in the last 6 months that, for Apple people who want it set up through HomeKit.
Yeah, they I don't know. Our rep, when they come by, it's all commercial stuff. So they show, which they brought in the Primus RP, which I saw briefly at Aloha, which is pretty cool. It's an extension on the patent for Primus, where it's got like a raised cutout. It uses a different finger pin, only in one. You only have to do it in one chamber, and the key has, how like Primus or Everest has like an undercut in the bottom. This is like at the above the finger pins, raised pin. So in like one spot in the key blank, it's raised. I don't have one to show you, but
it's like a bump out or something.
Sort of. If you Google Primus RP, there's some like engineering pictures of it or whatever.
Why are they extending the patent already? I thought they got it in like 08.
No, the one expires in 2024. Primus XP expires in 24, and the other one expires in 29.
What's a utility patent? Is it 15 or 20 years?
I don't know.
Nidale's going to tell us. There's what? Because to go from Primus to XP, all they did was add a 7th finger pin.
I know.
And they gave him a patent. I can't believe they did it.
Well, that's a lot of what Bill talks about in the class, is how many small things, they really don't have to change much.
Yeah. Even though we have Primus.
Yeah, so it gets them an extra 5 years. Primus RP, classic obverse keyway, the keys and the finger pin, conventional cores are compatible, plugs need update, blah, blah, blah.
Jeff, you and Tyler run the show for a second. I'll be back in a minute.
He's got to go to the potty.
Nah, not quite. Maybe though.
I'm surprised that they're already trying to extend it because X4 got a 3-year extension, but it was like, well, I guess it was on the same timeline, about 5 years before it were to expire. Huh.
Yep, that's how they, I mean, it makes sense. Although, and then same thing with Peaks. Peaks Preferred is going to expire in 24, and they've already come out with Peaks Plus. It makes sense. And it's backwards compatible. They're changing the pins around, I think, to make it work. It's a little bit different keyway.
Are all Peaks backwards compatible?
Well, yeah, if you have the same keyway, the preferred keys will fit in the classic cylinders now. So what they're saying is that the plus will fit the preferred, which will also fit the classic. So we've got systems that are out there from 1994 where they might have the same key, or they might have original cylinders that have been rekeyed over the years, that are classic Peaks, but all the keys we cut are on preferred.
All right. My drink was out. I was thirsting to death over here.
Other kitty.
Yeah. This is the mama kitty that's up here. She's the one that was born in Georgia.
It's really only different in like one. I think they're doing something like you said, they just pass it multiple times and now you have a new keyway.
Well, I mean, that's like they did with just the regular Everest, going from like C123 to S123. They just changed, a little bit and made the S blanks backwards compatible.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you like some trivia on Kava Peaks?
Is it something that I already know?
I don't know if I've showed you this part of it.
Okay.
Do you know who Tom Hennessy is?
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Okay, so Tom and David Florian were the ones that patented what would become the Kava Gemini, and they took from that patent what would they use to become Kava Peaks. And I think I was telling you this the other day. That's why this is back when Lori had them all. So the original Kava Peaks had Lori stamped on them.
I told you that. I showed you my key and the cores, and you said that it was worth a lot of money.
It was, because they only did it for about a year. It's like, well, it's almost as rare as the original Medicos that have, I always get these confused, the compass and the protractor. Which one has the two things going down? Is that compass?
Yeah, I have a Medico with the square logo where it's just the cylinder face just says Medico.
Yeah, I've got those, but the original ones had the protractors. That was, and actually, if you still go there today to see Mechanical Development Company, which is still there right down the street from Medico, that's still their logo.
Yeah.
And I think the family still owns that too.
Yeah, that's cool.
It would be cool, actually. Just thinking of things and local businesses. I mean, I've told you guys that Carolina Roller is like 7 minutes that way from my house. Where if you're in the chat, you're watching, you're not familiar with Carolina Roller, they're the ones who make the Shrum tool, or it's known as Traveler's Hook elsewhere, but
and it's actually Carolina Roller is its real name, right? That's the name of the textile company.
Well, Walt Shrum is actually the one who invented it, and he's a locksmith, and his shop's like 10 minutes away from my house.
Right, but he didn't make them, did he?
No, he didn't manufacture them, but he designed it, and I think he got Carolina Roller to manufacture it for him. But I think the actual name of it is the Locksmith's multi-purpose tool or something like that. But I mean, it's something, if you're a locksmith, you need at least what, 3 or 4 of them.
Sounds very devious to me.
Do what?
Actually, you want to know a funny story? Breck used those to, the A1 punches to pull the carriage in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Breck didn't use his fingers. He would take a Carolina roller and hook the end of it and pull it out that way.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. That's the reason you talking about a local business, Tyler. I was just thinking that would be really cool to see if they would like let me do a video with them or something to see how they were made.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I carried 2 of them in my tool bag, and then I've got like another 2 in the truck. Let's see.
And we've got one at the shop for some reason, but they make them that are like 12 inches long.
I have one. We use it on safe side.
Yeah.
Well, the long one that I keep in my bag, and I think I've got another long one in the truck that's I've kind of got bent because I needed to reach a relocker in a safe door one time because somebody might have hit it with their knee while they were doing a lock swap out, and so there was no lock in it and no relocker plate, and it fired and the door shut and everything. But we're not going to talk about that idiot. But that might be why I have a long one that's bent in the truck. But for access control, the long one is great for when you're running wire down, the hollow metal frames. You got to pull it out and everything.
There's a whole lot of innuendo in that conversation.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so Night Owl says the Traveler hook is the name for the tool in the textile trades. And Carolina Roller is the manufacturer. Yeah, it's right up the street here. And then Walter Schrum was the locksmith who popularized them as the locksmithing tool. Gotcha. Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah. We Jeff saying he keeps like a few dozen in stock, and we've got like a whole storage bin full of them in different lengths because I have actually broken them, and I think everybody
break them all the time.
Yeah. I actually broke one like in the middle of the handle, like not the tip of it, just in the middle of the handle it broke. And the way to carry them in a tool bag is I use the Schlage castle nut wrench, stick that down in the pocket, and then stick them in that, or the smaller one anyway. Paint bucket handles can be great locksmithing tools, according to Rune. Okay. That'd be interesting. Now, I'll tell you what I do have on the truck, and I've actually used it a couple times, is the wire frame for like political signs, yard campaign signs. I keep that wire and just take a die grinder and I cut it off at the welds and everything. But that's actually pretty sturdy wire to have around. All right,
I remember when I
folks,
first started picking, I used to go to the junkyards and pull the wiper blades.
Oh yeah. I did that too for turning tools. I never made any like picks. I still haven't, but I've got a few that are homemade that other people have made and given to me. I mean, when you get out and you start doing this stuff, you have to think outside the box and start like,
For sure.
creating stuff. think it would be cool, like to do an actual, like if the three of us could ever get together or something and do a video, like fixing a door that's completely out of shit and we put it back together. I think that would be pretty cool video to do. Because, people, I don't think people realize as much that, what we do in the locksmith industry is we're more doorsmiths most of the time,
Well, I mean,
I'm not willing to make that video because then people would know that I'm not as good as I think I am or say I am.
Well, you can blame it on me and Jeff.
And I'm a shop guy, so I don't have,
Be like, that Tyler guy's full of shit. He's not good at all.
I can point out I can find you your obscure key blank for your, oh, here's an interesting one. So this guy had a key for a Caterpillar generator and couldn't find it. The only thing I could find was on like Caterpillar Japan was the key. I emailed Phil at Blue Dog. He didn't know what it was. Did a search on ClearStar. 62FS British automotive key. Pulled it off the thing. It was the exact keyway. Had the guy come in, made him a copy, and he did not come back and say it didn't work. So, ClearStar is worth its weight in gold or brass.
Okay, I have to remember that because we get people to come in the shop. Having storefront shop, you get a lot of just traffic. People walk in. Hey, can you make a copy of this key? Well, maybe, and you look at it and say, yeah, I think so. And then you go through, like yesterday, we were looking, we looked at every single Yamaha key we had in there because that's what the code on the key pulled up. That's what the key looked like was a Yamaha key. None of the Yamaha keys matched it. Nothing. I mean, it was very, very close.
Yeah, and we get stuff like that too for like some of these imported motorcycles or whatever. And the head, like you said, the head of it, it's a dead ringer for whatever, Yeah, it's that's how you get tripped up sometimes, though.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like
Tyler, this is what I'm sending you.
It's like it was a few months ago, more than a few months ago, but a guy came into the shop and he said, hey, I need 3 copies of this key, 3 or 4, something like that. Hands me the key. I look at it. The bow is round. It says Yale on there. So without even looking at anything, I grab stack of Y1s, copy him out, charge him for it, send him on his way. And he comes back like a day later and says they don't work. And my boss, I wasn't there when he came back, but they were like, my boss was like, hey, those are Schlage, it was Schlage, SC1, but it had the round bow with Yale stamped on it.
Yeah.
And here we think we're smart as locksmiths doing neuter bows to keep Ace Hardware from copying keys.
Right.
I never said I was smart.
My boss walked in the other day, Jason did, and he looked at me. He said, what are you doing? And I said, I keep trying to tell you, I have no idea what I'm doing. And yet you keep giving me all this stuff to do.
Before we go, I want to show you one picture. I can't share it any other way. I guess I can do it by the.
Oh, yeah.
Did I send you that?
Yeah.
No, I remember seeing it when I was in your shop.
Well, this is more. That's about 500 pounds of plugs. Sargent LA plugs, Corbin Russwin plugs, stuff like that. They're about to go get smelted.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they come off a job or?
Yeah, old jobs. They were just in boxes in the back, kept around.
Damn.
That's going to pay for the Christmas party this year.
And Jeff and I are invited to that Christmas party, right?
Absolutely, because there's going to be so much more money after. I'm serious. If y'all want to come down, there's a good German restaurant we go to every year for the Christmas party. Everything paid for. Come down.
Cool.
Last year we had we scrapped $700 and something, and the bill ended up being like 300 and something. This year, I anticipate getting closer to 2,000. We're actually going to have two parties. We're going to have one around Thanksgiving and then one around Christmas. So,
oh wow,
you're both more than welcome. Anybody watching is more than welcome to come.
just find the address and drive.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard Tyler will pick you up from the airport, but I've also heard he can only pick up one person at a time from the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I only got a 2-seater truck.
Well, I'll drive down in my car and I could pick up a few others.
It's legal though in Georgia. You can ride in the
That
truck beds.
airport, I've never seen anything like it. You told me it was the busiest airport in the world, and that was ridiculous.
Welcome to Atlanta.
And the airport
Yeah.
in Vegas was calm, considering. I mean,
Oh yeah. Even
separate. I don't know. When I left, they have a totally separate. It's like I forget what they call it. It's like the screening of the future. It's a separate TSA zone in the basement, and it's got all this like hands-free stuff, and it's like they divert you down there if it's busy, and you go through. It's like the next generation TSA or something. I mean, it is pretty cool.
in Atlanta.
No, in Vegas.
Oh.
Hold on, let me see what it's called.
Well, O'Hare has it figured out because O'Hare's got 2 levels for domestic and international. There's 2 levels you can get off and get up on. Atlanta's just got one big one.
Yeah, Charlotte's actually became one of the busiest airports, like as far as traffic, or passenger or something. One of those numbers. I mean, is not as much as Atlanta, but is still pretty damn busy.
So it's called the Innovation Checkpoint. It's really cool as far as TSA goes. You know.
Now, Tyler, you should pay for Delp's plane ticket. We know you got money.
Good Lord, I can't even imagine what that would cost.
It's just from Australia.
Was Doubt the one that called years ago Jason from Australia when he was doing his live?
That was Don. Don's.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was good.
That was good. That was awesome.
Did he ask him if he makes keys?
I think so. I think he did. But yeah. All right, guys. So in the chat, if you have any questions, now is the time to ask. Because we'll be wrapping up soon because we've been wasting your time for the last hour and 20 minutes. Hopefully not wasting your time completely, but you know. Let's see. Jay says, try the New York airports, just the traffic sucks. Yeah. I think traffic sucks everywhere. Traffic sucks in Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte passed San Francisco for population like before the pandemic. So it's really, really busy and big now, and I hate driving through there. Okay, Don's called and asked for a quote for a service call to his place in Australia. Gotcha. That's pretty good.
Jason was so annoyed too.
I don't think he was annoyed with it, but I think he's had like a few other people to call during his lives, just to call and try to recreate that.
Somebody called and was like really mean to Kim about something with like something about a video, and she's like, if you ever call here again.
Oh yeah.
Somebody hijacked one of Wayne's presentations and just started drawing wieners all over the screen.
Well, that might have been.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, come on.
It's actually pretty funny. Only because of who it is.
Yeah. Well, he records it too. I'm gonna ask him one day. I said, can you send me that recording? I just want to laugh.
Yeah, well, nothing beats what I sent you that I found that we can't say what it was, but we could tell Tim offline.
Yeah. When we come off the live, you can fill me in there.
Almost all of our text messages between Jeff and I are just like, "Hey, you can't share this with anybody. Hey, you can't share this.
Yeah.
Don't send this."
Right, but this was something I found, and I'm sure I'm not going to be the only one who sees it. But
that's like, y'all know the actual company that I was doing that high-rise building for. Bunch of stuff like that. Like, I'll tell y'all, where we're doing work, but I just don't want to say it on live. Not that I trust the people who are in the chat at home, but all my lives are recorded for playback. So don't want some customer coming in saying, yeah, he knows how to make the key to my house or my business. Well, that's why you paid me to.
Yeah, I was about to say, you would hope he would. Why else would you be hiring him?
Actually, I did get an attaboy review.
Get in. Yeah, I called a locksmith. He couldn't even get in.
I know.
He lost a bunch of parts on the ground.
Kept dropping screws like every 5 seconds.
Yeah. So he said, "Oh yeah, you called."
The worst thing, that job that I had the other day, rekeying that church daycare, like the oldest kid was like 5 or 4, something like that. I don't know how old those kids are. I'm not a dad, but like when I couldn't get the damn tailpiece realigned, and it's at a church preschool, and you know what you want to say exactly, because Dalp's talking about cussing in the chat. You know what you want to say when you can't get the damn tailpiece from the rim cylinder to line up with the exit device and all that good stuff. And one kid, he's like 4. He looks at the teacher and says, "I think he broke the door." And I'm like, "You little shithead, come on now." Then I finally got it on, and he turns around, looks at her, and says, "Okay, he fixed it now."
I've seen a trick that the problem you're describing is they would take Vaseline, a big old chunk of it, and stick it up underneath it no, I'm serious, to prop it up. But even with that Vaseline, it's really not going to affect anything going forward.
And you said there was a lot of innuendo in my comments about the Carolina roller. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm just telling you, I've heard other locksmiths to get the tailpiece to sit flush, or at least at an angle that you can hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Innuendo. But they would take Vaseline and prop up that tailpiece. Whatever.
Okay. To anybody who has never, ever known a locksmith and you just randomly came across this live at this point in time, please know that all locksmiths are really 12 years old at heart. All of us.
Well, it used to be a common way to mark the bolt when you were going to mortise out the strike is you would take out lipstick and put it on the face of the bolt.
Yeah.
So you would see guys pull out lipstick.
Yeah.
Actually, we were going to do, what was it? My boss and I, we were installing, I think it was a cam lock. And I'm like, "Where's your lipstick?" And he looked at me, knowing me, and said, "I thought you had some with you at all times." I'm like, "I ran out today." But yeah, to mark where the cam would hit inside. But, and I've actually been meaning to get some to keep just for that reason.
Well, get ruby red. In my experience, works best.
Tyler, you just go to your wife and ask for some.
I don't even think my wife has lipstick. Speaking of, Tim, you said you didn't have any kids. If you want to buy one, I got one I can sell you.
I would let you pay me about $10,000 to take it.
No, they're good for tax purposes.
Well, that's true. That's true. If you adopt 2 of the kittens, I'll call it an even trade with you.
Even trade child for 2 kittens.
Hey, cats are not, they can cost a lot of money, but not quite as much as a kid. But kids are good for tax purposes. I wish I could get social security numbers for all my cats.
That would be pretty funny. Start putting the bills in your cat's name.
Yep. Yes, I'm calling for socks.
Well, it's funny when somebody takes their pet to the vet. Yeah, this is Patches Smith or whatever. Aloysius Patrolman.
Yeah, that's it. Aloysius, Diogenes, Bernoulli, and Socks, and Cornelia.
Right.
Normal names, Well,
I wasn't going to say your last name on there.
I appreciate that.
That's why I said Patrolman.
Well, to be technical, it does rhyme with it.
What?
It does. It does, actually.
Yeah, it does.
It does. No, I don't care. Coleman, Patrolman. Yeah, same thing.
Lockpicking, cool man.
There you go.
Jason needs to bring that guy back.
Yeah. I need to actually live up to my channel name and pick a lock sometime. I tried picking one. I actually did pick a double-sided wafer on a little lock box the other day. It took me 10 minutes to get it, but I finally got it. After I put the bit in the drill and set it on the bench next to it. Threatened it.
Right. So you get one more chance. And then this is, that's funny. Sometimes that's what it takes.
All right, guys. So I think we're going to wrap it up for the live.
All right. It was fun.
It was fun. It was. And I think we do need to get together at some point and do a door smithing video. Because I've mentioned doing that before on here, and everybody's like, yes, please do it. And I think that's one of the coolest things we can do as a locksmith is, just locksmith the hell out of a door that doesn't work anymore. So I think a video would be cool.
It definitely won't work when we're done with it.
We will guarantee that it will not be any worse than it is right now after we're done.
I ain't making that guarantee.
Right.
Okay, it won't look any worse than it actually is.
I just looked it up. I'm 5.5 hours from Jason. I just might have to show up one day at his live and be like, "Can you duplicate this key for me?"
Yeah, bring your one of the M4 keys that you gave me.
I'm from Atlanta. Nobody could do this.
Yeah.
We should.
Oh, hey, everybody.
Yeah.
I'll drive down to Atlanta, and then Tyler and I can drive down to Jason's.
That would be pretty funny.
Do what?
We won't tell anybody. You come down here, and then we'll just show up in the middle of one of his lives.
Sounds like a weekend trip to me. For sure. But all righty, folks at home, appreciate it. Appreciate tuning in and everything. Y'all have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, stay out of trouble.
See you guys.